And get going here with some top stories. Again, my name is Pilar Arias. Happy to be here with you. Anybody out there like McDonald's breakfast? Anybody at all? Turns out Tracy Carrasco's here with our day's business brief, so let us know that they're adding some new things to the menu, and I'm interested to see exactly what they are. So let's start with that top story.
Yahoo has agreed to a major settlement plan over its massive data breach. Yahoo will pay $50 million in damages and provide 2 years of free credit monitoring services to about 200 million people in the U.S. and Israel. Email addresses and other personal information were stolen as part of the biggest security breach in history. The hacking happened in 2013 and 2014, but it wasn't disclosed until 2016. McDonald's is expanding its breakfast menu for the first time in years, adding 3 triple breakfast stacks. They are revamped versions of the Biscuit McMuffin and McGriddle sandwiches. Each will contain 2 sausage patties in addition to bacon. They will hit the menu on November 1st. Meanwhile, McDonald's has removed the Happy Meal from its value menu. The popular item will now cost an average of 25% more. For more, log on to foxbusiness.com. In New York, I'm Tracy Carrasco.
Oh, Tracy. Oh, my goodness. Triple breakfast sandwich, 2 patties of meat. Well, technically 3 with bacon, cheese, egg, carbs. Oh, my. I don't know if I could do that or not. It's just like there's a popular burger joint that has like a double cheeseburger. Well, I think pretty much every burger joint does have double cheeseburgers, triple cheeseburgers. I only ever do 1 meat patty. Okay, on to some much more serious news now. The search for 13-year-old Wisconsin teen Jamie Kloss continuing. They asked for thousands of volunteers to help in the search, and it looks like their call for help was answered. Let's get the latest out of Wisconsin.
As most of you know, we're looking for a 13-year-old girl, Jamie Kloss. It's now day 8.
Wardens from the Wisconsin DNR led searchers out for the day, splitting into large groups to comb the vast wooded and often fertile landscape surrounding the Kloss family home. Some climbing through buckthorn, others poking around the turkey farms on the hunt for evidence in the case. Many came from Minnesota, training in a workday or taking advantage of time off to do, as one volunteer explained, something far more important.
I have a daughter the same age, so, you know, it's kind of strikes close to home.
Authorities have reported Jamie Kloss was in her house last week when her parents were shot and killed. The Barron teenager was gone by the time law enforcement showed up, and she hasn't been seen since, believing she remains in grave danger. On Monday, a possible break. Investigators releasing these images of 2 vehicles spotted around the Kloss house on nearby surveillance cameras at the time of the horrific crime. And even though nothing major was found during Tuesday's searches, some items of interest were taken, giving volunteers a glimmer of hope.
But they did flag several things. I don't know what they were. Yeah. But anything, I hope they found something that can lead to something.
And another briefing is expected to be held here outside the Barron County Sheriff's Department at 4 p.m. In the past, the sheriff says he only talks when there is something of substance to pass along. In Barron County, Wisconsin, Christina Palladino, Fox 9.
All right, Christina, thanks so much for that update there. Okay, it turns out there is a battle for Texas's 23rd swing district. I promise I can say that. Say it 5 times fast. Texas's 23rd swing district. Let's find out exactly who the candidates are and how the midterm election race is going.
We went to Eagle Pass.
Will Hurd is trying to hold on to the 23rd congressional district. It's one of several districts in play as Democrats seek control of the House.
It's one of 3 districts that Hillary Clinton carried in Texas, but in the same year, Will Hurd, Republican, won it.
The 23rd district is a swing district. Congressman Hurd and his supporters here at his campaign headquarters know that, and a lot of it has to do with demographic makeup.
It spans 1/3 of the length of the country's border with Mexico, and about 70% of the population are Latinos.
Being Latino doesn't necessarily mean that it's a Democrat-driven population, but nonetheless, you have less polarization occurring in this district.
So this is where we're actually getting messages.
The race race is close. Hurd is counting on his reputation as a moderate Republican.
While it may be hard for people to put me in a box, they know where I'm coming from, they know my positions, and they know my background.
Hurd's opponent, Democrat Gina Ortiz-Jones, declined an interview for this story, but she's tried to challenge the Republicans' moderate image.
We need somebody that's going to step up, fight for us, and do what they say in the district, and we don't have that right now.
That's kind of a nice little...
Hurd and Ortiz-Jones will have to convince voters on two key issues.
Immigration is a huge thing, especially when San Antonio, majority of it does come from Hispanic roots.
It's healthcare, because most of this district is rural. There's not a lot of rural hospitals that serves the constituents of the 23rd Congressional District, and that's going to be the #1 issue.
State Democratic and Republican leaders say they've been targeting the 23rd District. It's now one of the most expensive congressional races in this state. In San Antonio, Texas, Madeline Rivera, Fox News.
All right, thanks for that update there on the race, Congressional District 23rd in Texas. Turns out I worked as a news reporter in Texas for 5 years, 2.5 of those spent in San Antonio. So I actually interviewed Will Hurd for a lot of stories out there. Okay, it's the Halloween season. A lot of people do like spooky things, you know, but have you ever heard of a festival in a cemetery? Turns out this next story happens to upset people whose loved ones are buried in this cemetery.
Kneeling beside her brother's grave.
It's our safe place to come and cry or just spend time with him.
It's the one place Melinda Valencia still feels close to him.
My brother passed away in February.
It's why when she saw this flyer,
I was outraged as well as my family.
A spooky festival being held at Stockton Rural Cemetery, advertising games, face painting, and bone-chilling tours of the dead.
There's nothing spooky about my brother, and there's nothing spooky about people that passed away. You know, they passed away in these horrific ways. I'm sure they're going to talk about that on the tour, and it shouldn't be made into something entertaining.
Cemetery manager Ruben Sanchez says he's received dozens of phone calls voicing concerns about the event.
So I'm going to be a self-guided tour, and we're staying on the pavement. We're not trampling on any stones or disrespect, or no big party, drinking, none of that. Everything's going to be factual stories that are here.
He says the event is a fundraiser for the cemetery, which is a nonprofit, and that the tour will be about history from the 1800s, which includes some scary stories.
Do you think it's appropriate to have people playing, having fun in a place where people's loved ones are buried?
Well, when you put it that way, I feel it's fine. It's all, like I said, is promoting the cemetery, promoting the community. It's a place to visit.
Valencia hopes the cemetery will reconsider hosting the event, or at least get rid of the Halloween theme.
It should be, this is what happened, this was their life, let's honor their life, not on Halloween and not for entertainment.
That's a story where lots of people probably see both sides of it. I know that I've heard of like cemetery tours where you can either take biking tours, walking tours, just to kind of check it out and learn the history, that sort of thing. But a festival, especially with a Halloween theme, not quite sure if I've ever been made aware of any of those. Okay, this next top story is about officers arrested on drug charges. Jessica Hawley reports.
Our agency is repulsed by the actions of these 3 individuals being arrested today.
Miami's top cop disgusted by the news he had to deliver about 3 of his own. Shanton Harris, who had nearly 20 years on the force, Kelvin Harris with nearly 27 years, and James Archibald, who'd been with the department for 2.5. All 3 arrested after an undercover FBI investigation.
These 3 officers are charged with committing the very crimes that they have a duty to investigate, to report, and to help prosecute.
The trio accused of protecting people they thought were drug dealers, assisting with drug trafficking and taking bribes. The investigation from August to mid-October was kicked off by a tip from a citizen, leading the department to call in the FBI. Tuesday, all 3 were taken to jail. 7 News at the FBI field office in Miramar as Shanton Harris was hauled away. According to the criminal complaint, she was the one heading up the illegal police protection operation, recruiting the 2 other officers.
I hope these arrests serve as a warning to any officer who would break their oath, shame our ranks, and dishonor our badge. There is no refuge for you here. If you are corrupt, we will find you, and you will answer for your crimes.
All right, 2 more top stories for you. We keep hearing about this polio-like disease that's impacting children across the U.S. Turns out one of the moms of the children impacted in North Carolina is speaking.
Today, a mother from Winston-Salem drove here to Levine Children's Hospital for doctors to look at her baby boy. Symptoms of AFM are usually seen in children under 13. Her son is just 10 months old.
Wave to the camera. Say hey.
A little baby wave is hard for Isaiah.
He's not like other kids.
Because he can only move one arm.
At first, he kind of looked like he had a stroke, so it scared me to death.
Mom Sierra Pennell remembers when her son stopped using his right arm.
He was like reaching over in his car seat trying to get his pass seat. So get him home and I realized that his arm no longer works.
She says it started as a common cold. Doctors say her baby is dealing with effects of AFM.
It's the scariest thing ever.
AFM is a rare polio-like disease.
We went over again like why his arm is the way that it is and his nerves pretty much. The viral infection damaged the nerves in his body.
There are 62 confirmed cases around the country, including 2-year-old Ryan in Huntersville and another in South Carolina. Isaiah is one of 2 probable cases in North Carolina.
If his determination wasn't here, I don't think he would be here.
Right now, there's no treatment for AFM, only help for symptoms like weaknesses in the arms, legs, or face. Also, facial drooping, problems speaking, and swallowing.
What advice do you have to parents who are seeing symptoms of what you're going through?
If your child gets sick, don't hesitate. Make sure you take them to the doctor just to see.
Some children fully recover. Others have issues that can last weeks or even years, paralyzing other parts of the body.
They say nothing, he'll never be able to use it again.
But it doesn't take a doctor to diagnose the family's strength and faith that can't be broken.
God don't give us nothing that we can't handle.
Isaiah may not be able to lift his right arm, but what he didn't drop is his smile. His mother jokes, saying he'll have to become a lefty, but right now all they can do is physical therapy, trying to remind him it's still there. At Levine Children's Hospital, Lauren Dugan, Fox 46 Charlotte.
Oh, wow. Faith and little boy keeping his smile and mom joking that child will have to use his other hand to write. All right, Doug Luzader is here to get us kind of caught up on midterm elections, just how everything's going in general. Who's been campaigning in your neighborhood? Have you been to any rallies? Feel free to let us know.
Democrats need to win 23 seats to retake the House. Sounds like a lot, but their fundraising has been aggressive, and the political map is on their side. Ask President Trump, and he'll tell you the blue wave of Democratic midterm enthusiasm is overblown.
The blue wave is being dissipated a little bit. I don't hear them talk. Are you guys still talking about the blue wave?
Well, he may be right, but his aggressive travel schedule suggests there are some real concerns. In coming days, he's in Wisconsin, North Carolina, and Illinois, rallying voters. Conservatives do see the numbers improving, riding a wave of their own, they hope, after being energized by, among other things, the confirmation of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
In the competitive races, the generic ballot has basically evened out. The Democratic advantage in the generic ballot takes into account all of these intensely blue parts of the country where it doesn't matter whether they have a huge advantage or not.
But Democrats still hold an advantage, and just about every prognosticator will tell you they are likely to win back the House if their voter intensity holds. And as early voting begins in a number of states, they are trying to bank that support.
When working people and young people don't vote, right-wing Republicans and billionaires win.
We're in a battle for the soul of America. And I don't think it's hyperbole.
Now, to be honest, that's the kind of language we hear before just about any election. But voter enthusiasm on both sides is pretty high, and turnout could be significant. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.